Hello and welcome back to this Stonton Grange Railway review. I am Dan and this is our Bachmann Mark 1 restaurant car. Now Model Zone was selling these cheap, as you can see. I got it for £14, which is extremely cheap. But they seem to be selling the restaurant cars off as well. I think you can get one in, I think it's BR Blue, and you can get one in BR Maroon. However, I opted for the BR, the Western style BR Chocolate and Cream livery. So if we just open the box, it's quite tight packaging, but it's a bit awkward to get out. And if we just slide the box to one side, I'm not like James May, I tend to keep packaging. Not to put the logo back in, I just like keeping packaging. And first thing you notice is you get, strangely with a coach, a pack of detailing. I think what these little things here are is their brake rods, and the larger things, which look like a hair clip, they are for coupling the coaches permanently and very close together. I personally probably won't use either of those because that'll probably get lost or broken. So to me they're about as useful as a Hornby DCC jacket. Right, okay, get onto the actual coach. I'll turn it around. Then you can see the kitchen bit. Packaging resembles that of the Hornby packaging, very environmentally friendly, and there's not much of it, so Bachmann will get a few points there. And if we open this up and take it out, it's quite tight on the bogies. A bogie is this, the pivoting axle wheel, so it's not snot. Close that up and... Well, the first thing you notice about this is there's quite a bit of weight to it, which is good traction. Although, if I just balance it like that, there's more weight on this end than there is this end, because this end, obviously, you can see that is the kitchen part of the coach. These are Bachmann's Mark 1 coaches. Mark 1s were built by British Railways, and to design them, they didn't actually do any design work. What they did was they took the best out of all of the coaches done by the Big Four. So they took probably like the chassis and the bodywork and all the interior. I use a pen because my hands are huge. From like the LDR teaks, the LMS, sort of the coaches for like the Royal Scot and things like that. The Maudsley coaches from the Southern Railway, and Charles Collett's design of coaching stock from the Great Western Railway. And the automatic thing you can see is if the cameraman can zoom in, you can actually see the tables in the coach. This would be very easy to just lift the bottom off and because if you look at the bottom, there's a screw there. Lift the bottom off and put some people in. But I'm not that way inclined, so I won't be doing that. And if I'm... I don't have things to say. Where are the military wives when you need them? Yeah. Mark 1s, just a quick history of them. Mark 1s, obviously, as I said, they took the best out of all of them, and these were built by British Railways. They were built in the 1950s to replace the ageing stock that had been brought from the Big Four. And they were in service for quite a long time. They were in service till the Mark IIs were designed in the late 70s. So these were pulled by steam engines, diesel and electric locomotives, and possibly even the few gas turbine locomotives that were designed. And these are still used in railway excursions. So private trains that run on the national network, although they're getting ageing now and Mark IIs are being used, so these are mainly on preserved railways. Restaurant cars, as you can guess, this is a kitchen type compartment, and you have your dining compartment where you would be, where probably you would just sit down and an incompetent steward would pour hot coffee into your crotch. Which is pretty much how to describe British Railways. First thing you notice, obviously, the detailing, it's good, but it is quite fragile. If you look at these bits here, sort of all the way along, there's sort of like the heavier bars, they can easily snap off. And you've got all these sort of bits here. I don't know what the parts are called, I'll just point. And then obviously I think these were used for the airing. Now C1, I know what that means. That means this was allowed to go on all networks due to its shorter length and size of the bogies and things like that. No spring-loaded buffers, which is quite a shame, but I suppose that can be altered, and it is a NEM coupling in a dolphin head socket, which is my least favourite of the type of sockets that the couplings come in, because these break and pop out really easily. No, literally, they pop out like flies pop up on a pension's window. So, if you look at the underframe of the carriage, it's got quite a lot of detail, which, like I said, is fragile. It could do with maybe filling it in with some metal wires to make it weigh a bit more. So these obviously would have been used in the 50s and the 60s when people were still sort of wanting Dr. Beeching's head put on a stick for modernising the railways, when they were perfectly fine as they were left. Obviously you've got these screws here to remove the bogies, and there's one there to remove the underframe. And obviously all the way along you have detailing which looks very realistic. Obviously some people might want to weather these up and things like that. However, for the first time in one of these reviews I have something to compare it to, because over here I have an older Mark 1 coach. Check, yeah, same length. Now I can't remember whether this is a Hornby coach or a Replica Railways coach, but it's still a Mark 1 in the Western livery, which isn't actually as detailed, you can tell, and it's quite dusty. I won't blow on that because the cameraman's a little bit asthmatic. Although it's... I'm not even going to go there. And you find the bogies are quite loose on this. Probably as loose as... No, I'm not going to do that joke. She might be watching. I can see the cameraman laughing. Yep. Yeah, I'm just getting something through my earpiece now. Yes. I'm going to be headed tomorrow morning. Obviously this is a brake coach and this is a restaurant coach, but if we just couple the two up together, albeit they've got different couplings, they still do... You can see this one is much darker in livery. This one is one of the later models because it's got a grey roof, whereas that's got a black roof. Because the roofs on these were originally painted white, but running with steam locomotives they found the roofs got dirty very quickly. So they painted them grey shortly after they were designed, and then they painted them black in their later days. Sorry, they painted them black and then they painted them grey in their later days. So this would have been for the diesel era. So if I can very carefully unhook this, because a very, very close and small coupling and a long-sighted old man don't really mix very well, and put that in there. This is a very good coach. Model Zone, as I said, are selling them for £14 or £13.99 if you're pedantic. So I would thoroughly recommend this, and it's sort of 10 out of 10. It's a good bargain for what it is, and it will go perfectly fine with the other Mark 1s I have on the layout.